Hi people, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to A Kid with a Dream. Now in this video I'm going to talk about what happened this week, what I've been feeling. It's probably been one of the busiest weeks of my life, so let's get right into it. So firstly then, I want to start off this video to where I was at the end of this week. It was Friday and I had one of my first job interviews in my life, and it went well. And it was going really well. And I was asking the interviewer questions, and he was asking me questions. It was more of a conversation than an interview because of the mindset I came in with. I went into the interview not being nervous, or I was nervous, but not putting pressure on myself. And I did this with an open mindset and understanding that whatever happens in this interview, I can grow and learn from it. And that is a really good mindset that I have used, and maybe you can use as well, to go into something and understand that this might not go your way. This might not be the best place that, or the best scenario in the world. But if you can understand that whatever happens, you've learned it as an experience and it's something you can grow on for your future self, then positives are there to gain from it. And that is the idea of a positive mindset. So here I was having this great conversation with this person doing the interview, and it got me thinking, how have I come from last year, 2 years ago? I come from someone who was nervous to talk to people, nervous to try new things, go out of your comfort zone, and now here I am asking the interviewer questions, enjoying myself. And it was a moment of realization of how good self-improvement is, and how good reading books is, and going out your comfort zone, and having cold showers, and all these things have really helped me to become better. And it was a nice realization. But as I mentioned at the start of this video, it's been a very busy week, and as well as job interviews, I've also had college tests, and I've had a driving test, and I've got a race today, and all these things are coming up in these 2 weeks, this week. And it's funny, and I would be stressing right now, I would be worried, I would be panicking, but along with that positive mindset that I've mentioned earlier, about knowing that what I'm doing today, the stuff I'm doing today to go out my comfort zone, to do that interview, to do that race, to do that college test, I know that my future self is going to thank me for these experiences I'm dealing with right now. But also, meditation and journaling have really helped me. So at the start of this month, I put it upon myself to meditate and journal. And sorry, the start of last month is the 1st of May today, so the start of last month, meditate and journal. And I gotta be honest, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any different. I didn't feel like this superpower that YouTube videos tell you. But what I have realized is that it has helped me in other ways that subconsciously help you, if that makes sense. So you don't realize that it's helping you, but it's the ability to not worry about stress. And I like the company name Headspace, because it really describes to you what meditation and journaling does. It's giving your head space, it's giving your head room. You can picture like a diagram of like someone's brain, and then there's just space around it. There's no stress, there's no anger, it's just relief, it's calm, it's chill. And that's the best way to describe it for me. Is giving me the ability to take a step back, view certain perspectives from a third point of view, and to realize that, you know, this scenario, this thing, this outcome which has happened isn't actually that bad. And it's knowing that when one door shuts, another one opens. If we can implement that into our lives, then it'd be really good. And I think it's the idea of thinking things through, right? And if we could all implement this process of not panicking, not worrying, and thinking things through, we can all become a lot more strategic and a lot more wiser with the actions we take in our lives. And now that is a very positive and important thing to learn. But saying that, as well as maybe I haven't been feeling stressed or anxious, I did a online test the other day, and I completed this test, and it tells you a bit about yourself, like your stress levels, your levels of focus, your levels of intelligence, or it's like a a chart, like a diagram, to show where you are compared to everyone else. And it said my stress levels were very high. Now this is interesting because I have been stress eating a lot, and as well as this week, it's been a positive week and it's been a good week and a week full of experiences and lessons to learn. I have also created old habits, created old routines, and got into my self improvement in a way of, going on Instagram and going on Twitter and going on the PlayStation for quite a long period of time. And now this is all fine and all, but once you do it, not because you want to do it, but out of a sort of an addiction of just going on there and just trying to dopamine your brain from YouTube shorts or from the Twitter feed or from your Instagram feed. And I keep telling myself the actions you are taking right now is down to you. And I tell myself that while scrolling on YouTube, and I will still do it. And I'm not sure whether that is an addiction because I have stopped. Maybe it's because I'm so stressed at the moment that my brain is looking for any sort of dopamine or any sort of thing. So to get away from this busy reality that I am in right now. And maybe that is the case. Maybe that is the case. But it's good that I've acknowledged that. And maybe you're someone who is creating old habits within you as well. And it's good that we acknowledge that we're creating old habits and now we can make a plan to work our way out of it, understanding the core reason why we are doing it. Maybe you have a stressful week and maybe you are trying to distract your brain, and maybe something like meditation is good for you to implement into your life as well. It's like understanding what are you doing right now, or consciously or subconsciously, that you're doing that might be because of something else that you might not even realize. And maybe it's a case of doing introspectiveness, of asking yourself why. Right, I'm going on my phone, I'm going on Twitter. Why? Because you're feeling anxious. Why? Because you've got a busy day. Why? Because I've got a college test. Right? So there we are. Introspective in a really short way is asking yourself why. Follow the path of whys, and that would lead you to a core reason behind why you were doing these certain activities, why you're sleeping in late or something like that. And that has a lot of power within itself as well. So I've been doing that, a little bit of introspective, asking myself why. And it does come down to a busy schedule, a busy week, and I'm trying to find ways to distract myself. I'm stress eating a lot. I'm eating a lot of chocolate, a lot of sweets, because it's like my brain's like craving it because it feels like it needs it, because of all the stuff that's going on right now. But as well as that, because of this sort of a thing on YouTube, and maybe because I started this channel, one of the disadvantages with this channel is always being on your phone. So it's a lot easier to get distracted and, I'll just go on YouTube 5 minutes. And then before you know it, you're just stuck in this loop of YouTube shorts. But what I want to get to is, I picture myself a few months ago, and I think how much better I was a few months ago than I am today. Maybe that's something you can relate to as well, but I think back to September, October last year, and I picture myself, I wasn't civilized. Not in a way of like I wouldn't talk to anyone, but in the way that I wouldn't question the stuff I was doing. I would be waking up at 6, training 3 times a day, college in between. It'd be unreal, and I'd be so busy and so focused on my training because I wanted to get better. I wanted to get 5k in 22 minutes. I wouldn't even question that this was a normal, right? But because I'm on YouTube a lot now, I'm questioning the stuff that I'm doing. Is it normal? Is it not normal? And that is very interesting, because I'm almost becoming civilized in this idea of, let's not train twice a day because the average person doesn't train twice a day, or let's not work till 9 o'clock or let's rest now because the average person doesn't rest now. And that sort of mindset is about me becoming sort of civilized again, and I don't like that. I want to be, I see David Goggins and he inspires me a lot to be the only, to be the few, and that is what I strive to be, to become better, to become a harder working person. But the more times I see this stuff on Instagram and Twitter of, have rest, you worked hard, it's about going for a run, not a personal best, and all this stuff. It's very true and it's very correct. But for myself, I want to become better. It's not a question of going for a run. I've signed that contract with myself that I'm going for a run. It is a question of, am I getting a personal best? And that's the mindset I have. And I'm worried that I am becoming more, I don't know if civilized is the right word, but more normal. And because of the use of social media, maybe I'm being brought back into this, come back, you're working too hard, become normal, become average. And it's like this force pulling me back. And I don't want that. So that's the thing that's been on my mind recently. Comparing myself to who I was a few months ago, who had an incredible work ethic, who was focused, who didn't care about pain. If he felt pain, if he felt suffering, he embraced it and used it as more motivation. And that's something that I want to implement into my present self now. I think reading David Goggins or going on David Goggins or transforming that mindset, or creating an alter ego, or doing something that is going to fix your brain, fix your mindset towards that goal is something that I'm going to implement into this month, and maybe something you can as well. So I think that's it for this week. It's been a busy week, productive week, a stressful week, and a very good week to learn from, and a week that my future self would thank me for. So with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.